Hare Krishna, Gauranga, Harinam Sankirtan, Transcendental Book Distribution, Ki Jai. So, today I want to share a little short story if you don't mind. Got out in some Sankirtan in Leicester City Centre. I caught the last bit of their Sacred Street party, got the last couple of hours in. And was, as always, Sankirtan is very blissful. Just like swimming in a big wonderful ocean or reservoir or whatever it is, the pleasure pastimes are instant, in that sense. As soon as you dip your toe in, you start enjoying it. I started off just trying to do a few books right away, and then the devotees kindly asked me to do some kirtan, and that was nice. Again, led a little bit of kirtan and then back on to try and get some books out. And like everything else, it has its ups and downs. Started a little bit slow, picked up in the middle. I tried to keep this mood of detachment all the way through. I've saw this actually, that the devotees have a very wonderful detached mood. They're not caught up in all the whole score chasing thing or who's the biggest, who's the smallest, and all these kind of things. These are things that maybe used to happen when we were in the ashram days, how many mahabigs you could do and how many thousands of pounds and how many, there isn't any of that, which is fantastic, especially for me as I'm trying to crawl back onto my feet again in Sankirtan, slowly but surely picking up some momentum again. And so yeah, I was really just happy just to be out there. So right near the very end, I had already had a nice streak of getting some Bhagavad Gitas out, like 3-4 in a row. And then, I was telling the devotees, okay, you better run back to the car park. These are the, I had the car on the meter, so these are the kind of things, right, isn't it? This is the reality. You're no longer on the full marathon, staying out there for 12 hours. You've got to park for 2 hours and run back to the car and then shoot off back to the kids, So, what to do, right? But, so you've got to really, in that sense, in many senses, such a short burst really lets you appreciate the Sankirtan even more, actually. When you're out there for the full days, it could be said, of course, because I'm a big advocate of the fact that the more and the longer you stay out there, the more incredible things that happen. And it's not necessarily that more books go out. And I mean, in one sense, that kind of does obviously mean the longer you're out there, it kind of will be, because obviously you'll find that more people as you stay out there for 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, whatever it is. But there is that thing about, if you're going to do the full marathon, then put everything you've got into it, because that's what it is. Especially if you're a brahmachari, then the marathon's your job. That's it. There's no other thing except but to fully focus on Sankirtan for that 1 month. Throughout the year, you may be a pujari, you may be a school and colleges preacher, or on the Goshala, or prasadam distribution, or whatever it is. But for that month of the marathon, give yourself 24/7, 7 days a week, like that. But if you're grihasta, you're out there on your weekend, squeezing in 2 hours or an hour, or you're getting some door-to-door in, whatever it is. So then it's so relishable, because you're thinking, wow, I'm just lucky to be out here. It's like a break almost to get out in Sankirtan. But yeah, anyway, so I had a little burst, got some books out, and then I was telling the devotees, okay, I'm going to shoot off. And I thought, right, one more Bhagavad Gita. And usually, if you remember, for the devotees who have done a little bit of Sankirtan over the years, there's that last book syndrome, which is usually means that, maybe this is just me, I'm probably very attached, but you can maybe feed back to me if you see me and tell me, oh, I don't get that, the last book syndrome, but maybe some of you have had that. You end up having a real, transcendental battle to get the last book out. But today was my lucky day. The book went out almost immediately, but in such a wonderful way, actually. So I stopped one lady with a pram said my couple of words, and she was like, yeah. I said, you look like a person who seems. I'm using a bit of Vaisheshika Prabhu's hit up lines, so to speak. I've kind of I've definitely renounced my stuff from the Brahmacharya ashram days. I don't think those are not so usable now. But yeah, Vaisheshika Prabhu's lines. So I kind of said, I saw you coming. You look like a person who's very happy. What is it that makes you happy? And she says, oh well, my son, the baby, 1 year old in 31st of December, and then him. So she points, and I look to the right, and here comes this giant husband coming out of the shop, kind of wondering what's going on. Who's this guy stopping his wife? But he had such a bright and effulgent face himself, actually. So I said, oh wow, he makes you happy, but he also looks so happy. I could see I could genuinely see, without the falsity of the chat up line, that there was actually he had some spiritual nature. So I says, okay, you're both such a happy, so, what's going on, And then I said, well, anyway, what we're doing is we have these books. We have Bhagavad Gita. We've come from the Hare Krishna temple here on Granby Street. We just reopened it. Help us out. This is what we're doing, Christmas Marathon. And he said, and this is the key thing. This is the key thing. Sorry for the build-up. He says, I've actually been thinking about getting my hands on a Bhagavad Gita. There you have it. Today we were meant to meet. Blah, 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 blah. Exchange made. There's the book. Bum, bum, bum. Lakshmi, so on and so forth. See you later. And then JD shoots off. Back to the car. But this is the thing. This is the thing that's important. We may not want to do Sankirtan because it's hard. The rejection, the no's, the rain, the cold, whatever it is. But if we deny the people out there our presence, that is such a bad thing. What is this whole mantra? Vanchakalpatripasya kripasindhu evacha patitanam pavanibhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. These devotees are patita pavan. These devotees are saving, excuse me, they're saving the conditioned souls. They're merciful, so on and so forth. We are rocks. We are like boulders to grab on in a stormy sea for the people out there, especially during this Christmas time. So for us, that little bit of austerity, that little bit of pushing through the mind and pushing through the body just to really save these souls is invaluable. It's incalculable, actually. So if you have, and if Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati says, if you have any life, preach. That's what it is. That's devotees. Devotees means preach. Devotees means, and especially for those. Certainly for those who are initiated, for the Brahmin initiated, it is no question. You've signed on the dotted line that you're part of the ISKCON movement. And the ISKCON movement is the Sankirtan movement. And the Sankirtan movement is the book distribution movement, the Harinam movement. Just as Ayendra Prabhu used to say, he said, there's a Kirtan revolution going on here, please. Everybody take part in it. Yeah? He says, I don't know if you've noticed, I don't know if you've heard, but there is a Kirtan revolution being reignited in ISKCON. And it's still going on. New devotees, young. I'm seeing kids that are going out there in my local yatra, and they're distributing books like crazy. And I'm thinking back, however, I don't know, I'm not good at maths, but however many 20 years, 25 years ago, when I was a young boy, watching my dad distributing books, and then thinking, oh, I can't wait, because back in those days you couldn't go out, at 11 years old or 12 years old and distribute. There was like rules and laws saying, well, you have to be 16 or 18, something like that, So I couldn't go out till I was 16. Whereas these young guys are doing scores that, are massive. They're doing massive scores already. Not even 13, 14. So it's incredible. It's so incredible. And these amazing things are going to happen. I guarantee. My dad, I'm hoping one day actually, I'm putting a little spoiler in there. I'm hoping the next time I see my dad, I'm going to maybe do a thing that I've never done before and probably get my dad on like a kind of little interview to speak to him about his Sankirtan stories and realizations in this thing. Because of course he's got some 30 odd years of experience, But yeah, my dad always says to me that something's just just go out there and something special will happen. Okay, that special doesn't have to mean that you go out there and distribute 500 books or 300, whatever it is, collect £1,000. That's not the definition of special. The definition is that you will reach someone's life in a special way, because there's people out there that are waiting to bump into you, but they won't bump into you if you're not out there. So today there was that person who had been looking for a bag of Agira, and there was just this insignificant rascal JD standing out there, just getting his 2 hours in for the yatra to do some devotional service, and and we met each other. We crossed the paths, and I met another girl, actually the same kind of thing. I said to her, "Oh, what makes you happy? What makes you seem so peaceful?" And she said that she has a positive outlook, and she says, I think, for example, I bet I was meant to stop today, and I was meant to chat to you, and I never just told you to get out my face, to F off, kind of thing. I says, well, I'm very grateful that you did, that you didn't chase me away, because now I can give you this book, Anishu Upanishad. So these kind of things, these interactions are priceless. They're gold, because that living entity may have came through millions of, well, not may have, will have come through millions of lifetimes to come to that point, to qualify for meeting a devotee and taking a book, and bang, Hare Krishna, re-sparking, reigniting the transcendental journey back to Godhead, just by meeting the devotee, just by taking the book. And actually, that girl, for example, the girl that I met, she was going down the street reading it. She was looking at it. She was like, "Wow," And she asked me another one of the key questions that we have to take note of out of our Sankirtan stories that we have. She said to me, "Do you follow this then?" Now then, you've got to, you can say yes externally and just say, "Yeah, of course I follow. Yeah, I'm part of that group that's chanting over there. I'm part of the temple that I just mentioned. Oh, I've been from speaking for myself, I says, oh yeah, I've been in this Hare Krishna for my whole life, kind of thing. Have I? Have I really? Because if you want to influence people in a bigger way, you've got to really be able to say yes and actually live it and believe it and embody it. Yes, I am a Hare Krishna. Yes, I do follow these principles. Yes, I do read these books. I study these books. I to a certain extent, of course, I understand these books and live the values and so on and so forth. And then boom, you'll hit people like a brick, You'll just, when you go out in the street, you'll just be like, Hare Krishna, bang, hello, books flying, yeah? Because then people can see these people are the real deal. This philosophy is the real deal. So that's another thing to take out of this, if you like, is that if we really live it, people will also want to live it. So when she asked me that today, I thought, oh, well, yeah, I guess so. I'm part of this, but anyway, I hope I can really say I'm part of it. But yeah, anyway, so these are the kind of things, If these people are waiting out there to get the books, these exchanges are there to happen. They're there for us to take them. So let's be out there. Let's be out there and play a valuable part. ISKCON Guru Vrinda Ki, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Nitai Gaur Premanandi, Hari Hari Bol.